Thank you for joining us on the Integrate This podcast and continuing with us on our Tech in 10 series about using ChatGPT for teachers. If you've watched the others, we've had an overview of ChatGPT for teachers, how to create an account, how you might use it, and why you might use it to help with your instructional practice. Or perhaps you watched the episode right before this one, which was about designing lessons. Today, we're taking a look at how we can use ChatGPT for teachers, a very powerful tool, to help us design materials for use in our classes that we have. And so let's pull up our ChatGPT for teachers window. You could see that I am logged in with my educator account. And it's as we pointed out in the previous episode, there are different suggested activities that you might want to use ChatGPT for teachers for. And one of them that's on here, I think, really relates to something you might use it for. And it says to create a worksheet. And similar to how we used it with one of our lesson designing tools, designing materials also will create worksheet ideas to help with students on a particular topic. And then we'll also explore some other ways that if you're not getting the prompt tool that you want, you can just use it as a regular chat and give it a good prompt for what you're looking for to begin with. So similar to what it did before when I asked it for help designing a lesson, when I asked for help with this particular material, I need to give it some of the information, such as in grade level or in age. And I'm going to stick to the ninth grade civics example that I used in the previous episode for this particular lesson here as well. It also would work on any grade level or content area that you choose. And I'm going to choose as the subject here, and the topic is going to be on 3 branches of government. And I'm going to particular focus on the making and passing of laws, including, we got to put in checks and balances in there. And then any constraints, I'm going to just say we're one-to-one Chromebooks. Okay, so let's see what they come up with for worksheet ideas. So it's not going to generate immediately the worksheet for me, but rather because of the type of tool that it is, it's asking me to, or it's having me take a look at some of the examples that it's coming up with. So it has a sorting challenge. Perhaps I wanted to make a flow chart. I could. What happens next, checks and balances. Maybe spotting a mistake, right, is a good example. Here's one about creating a comic strip or a case file, maybe a logic puzzle, some matching things. It's actually creating quite a few of these things here for me. The one that jumps out on me here is this comic strip. So really what I could do is kind of ask it to elaborate on the number 5 and see what it comes up with. Elaborate on number 5. Give me a template. And here it goes, just by giving it a few more directions that it's going to be able to take those different things. And so what you see that I could do here is I could take some of these things and I could use that to help create a worksheet that I would want to be able to use. And you could see some different examples that it's putting in here. Looks really pretty nice. And maybe I would even put it, because it's like a more creative thing here, that I might add it to like a Google Slides and put each one of these different segments of the comic strip onto a Google slide. Would make a fun, not just your regular ordinary worksheet type of an activity, but one that might hold the student's attention and might allow them to engage and learn something more from them. But what if, again, the topic that you wanted to do or the tool you wanted to use is not there? Can you still do something else with just your prompt? So maybe I want to do something here this time as a material. I know it does say generate image there, but what if it didn't come up with that as the tool? I'm going to ask it to do one here on this particular prompt, which is give a detailed description for an educational visual that explains the three branches of government and how the checks and balances work. And so I'm going to ask it to basically write a prompt for me that I could then take that prompt and then use it to make that particular visual and create that particular image. And so here it is, a detailed ready description for it. And boy, it gives me a lot of different things that are in here. And if you are familiar with using some of the tools within ChatGPT and ChatGPT for Teachers, you could make this look pretty good just by going down and working on this create an image based upon this content that's there. I'm going to save myself and you the amount of time that it takes ChatGPT to generate images and just move on to another example here instead, because I think you've seen image generations before, right? Say another thing that I want to do here is to come up with some content that I'm going to want to include on maybe a slide for a presentation that I'm going to give to the students without giving me the actual slide itself, so that I can kind of think about and consider what's going to work best with the students that I have. And so you'll see here it's building then the content that I may want to put on the different slideshow. And again, it's up to me to choose how I'm going to use that. So again, I still maintain control of everything that's there. But I think what it does here, and I'm going to give you one more example, but what I think is one of the really nice things is that this is where we can use ChatGPT for Teachers to really shine in helping us to be that teacher's assistant rather than the one in direct control. I still am remaining in control for the types of activities that I'm asking it to do. And so this one I'm going to ask it to do is a differentiation activity where I wanted to create two different versions of a reading passage about the three branches of government. One written at that ninth grade level and one at a little bit lower level, to basically what to kind of cover the gamut of the different students that I'm going to have in my class. And you can see here it's designing one for a lower leveled reading. And when it's done here too, what I would probably do if I'm going to use this is I'm going to ask it to create some check for understanding questions, as well as maybe some higher level application or analysis questions that go along with it. And even it even suggests that's something I should do. So let's even just say, let's just start with the comprehension ones and add that as that next step that goes along with it. And then I would be able to add those different things by copying and pasting it onto a Google Doc, perhaps, along with the different questions. Perfect. Oh, yeah, of course. You know what I need? I need answer key. Can't do that without having the answer key. So I think these are pretty great ways that we're able to use what's available to us in our free ChatGPT for Teachers account. Remember, it's free through 2027. So plenty of time to dive in and decide how you're going to use it. And I hope you have found some takeaways from this episode and that you can look forward to the next episode that we have, which is going to be on designing assessments using ChatGPT for Teachers. So thanks for joining, and we look forward to seeing you next time.